Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. Now you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of anywhere else? And that's because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time, they talk down to us, they think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, we're watching a clip of First Things First, where Nick and Wilds get in a legitimate fight. Wilds gets really angry. Now, I normally don't watch the clips before I react, so I react live. But I just recorded a clip specifically about Justin Herbert, and then I finished a clip and finished what I was recording, and so I just had the rest of the last few minutes just playing in the background as I was setting up the next clip, and I see them get in a huge fight right now, and it's real. Wilds is genuinely angry, and Nick is now angry as well. What it is they have to do is Nick Wright said Justin Herbert is absolutely top 10, top 8 quarterback. Without a doubt. And Wilds was like, well, I don't know. And he's like, oh, I bet you can't name, 10 quarterbacks better than Herbert. And so as the segment went on, Wilds was now trying to write people down. And so now he lets Nick know who it is. And it gets heated. It genuinely gets heated. So let's watch. I'm just going to let the whole clip play straight through, and then we'll kind of unpack it.
He'll help Herbert. I think he'll definitely help Herbert.
Let's hear him, Wilds.
Mahomes, Lamar.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Stafford.
Sure.
Dak.
You've got Dak?
Yeah.
Okay. That's surprising, but go
he's
ahead.
won one playoff game.
He's won two, actually.
Zach,
well, I mean, it's more than one.
Two and what, 5?
Go ahead.
6?
Burrow.
Yeah.
Stroud.
Sure.
Purdy.
Purdy doesn't.
I don't know.
Purdy's successful.
The Prince.
No, he wouldn't say the
that
Prince.
would have Nick
No,
drop-
but
that
here's
would
the
have
thing.
Nick back
He
off.
wouldn't say the Prince because Wilds really values Herbert's playoff resume, except for the fact that the Prince beat him and he doesn't care.
I like Jalen Hurts as well.
I want to see
Jalen Hurts without
Is this
Kelsey.
actually what you think? You don't think Herbert, who I think we are as a show more skeptical of than most shows, you don't think he's a top 10 quarterback now?
No, I think he's a very good quarterback,
No.
but I named 10 guys.
That you think are better?
Yeah, I mean, can I win a
I'm
playoff
not
game?
sure
Is
that
that
Dak
like,
You think
am I
Dak
like
is
a
better
bad
than
guy
Justin
for saying
Herbert?
win a playoff game?
How's the coaching been there?
I mean, he's
You're a great quarterback.
He's 0 for 1 in the playoffs.
Yeah, so okay, does he
defense
bear
has
any
been
responsibility
horrendous.
for that?
Okay,
This is his
The
third,
defense
is
has
this
been
his
horrendous.
third head coach now?
this is his third head coach.
Is it third?
If you got listen,
This will be
I
his third.
think
Usually
some
great
of the
quarterbacks
football
save
hip
head
guys.
coaches, they
Okay,
don't run 'em
I
out.
can't believe I'm the one saying this. I think the football hipsters are a little too high on Justin Herbert, but trying to create a world where he's not top 10 in the NFL.
Okay, who is he better than that I just named?
Give me
Dak
your list.
Prescott?
He's definitively better than Dak. He is definitively better than
You
Brock
just had
Purdy.
Dak as the MVP. Last year you had Dak as the MVP.
Sweet Christ, man. Yes, someone can have
Yeah,
a better
wow.
season
Okay.
and not be better than the guy. Wilds, who was your NBA MVP last year? I think it was Joel Embiid. Is he the best player in the league in perpetuity, or did
No,
he
but
have
he's
the
not
best
the
season?
No, but he's always in that discussion.
Okay,
The
Drew,
MVPs are in
you
that
you had Brock Purdy in the MVP conversation ahead of Patrick Mahomes this year. Does that mean next year if you have Mahomes ahead of him that your MVP thing's wrong?
I'm saying I named 10 guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like you have to have him.
One of the guys you named was Jared Goff. I didn't even address it. If you think Jared Goff's better than Justin Herbert, you're just out of the
Jared
mainstream.
Goff in the Super Bowl, and he might make it to the Super Bowl
Look,
this
these
year.
are arguable. It's arguable because I think golf is underrated.
Guys,
I like Herbert, but I'm just saying
Can
golf
win some
is
games. Why am I the bad guy? That's like an
But
esoteric
he's had a lot of
concept.
things working against him.
Then overcome them if you're so great.
He's not there yet. but
Okay, then he's
on his
not.
way.
Then he's not.
en route.
Jalen Hurts has a lot of things to overcome too, and guess what? He's out
Really?
there playing on one knee in the Super Bowl.
But to Kevin's point, usually great quarterbacks come in, and
Thank
whoever the
you,
coach
Coach.
is ends up coaching
on.
there for a long time.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Trevor Lawrence.
You told me to
couldn't
name him, I named
save,
him.
No, right, but I'm just shocked
Urban.
you actually believe this, and you're getting mad at me. I'm shocked that you think the following people, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Jared Goff, are better than Justin Herbert. I'm shocked by that. I think that is a wild take. That's all. It's okay to disagree. I think that is a wild take. I don't even know what this scribble is down here, but that's probably
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't think Jalen Hurts is better than Justin Herbert. I understand Jalen Hurts won 2 playoff games. I get
Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And Justin Herbert had a 20. How big was the Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl?
Ooh, he said he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, which I've said multiple times on this channel, and a lot of people get angry. And Nick Wright doesn't even really debate that, but unfortunately the clip ends because even Nick Wright has admitted that Patrick Mahomes was outplayed by Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl, and we all know that Patrick Mahomes is indeed Nick Wright's daddy. But that's a different conversation to be had. This idea that Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy is better than Justin Herbert is just really insane to me. Justin Herbert is part of a poor organization. His coach for the last few years was awful. He's had multiple OCs. And again, this is the problem when you have a defensive head coach and you have multiple, because so not only is he now going to have 3 head coaches, but he's also had multiple different OCs. So which when you have a defensive head coach and you have new OCs, it's essentially like a new head coach for Justin Herbert. It is very hard to succeed in that environment. Not to mention any of his offensive weapons are always getting banged up and injured. His defense, which is the whole thing is oh god, I can't think of the coach. What's his name right now? The defensive head coach. It'll come to me in a minute. But like that defense was not that good. That was also a big reason why he got fired, because it was like you don't even have the defensive side of the ball worked out, you know? So this whole idea, that coach consistently put Justin Fields in a position to fail, okay? Going for it on their own like 20 or something outrageous, right? Whenever that was a couple years ago. It just doesn't make any sense. Staley, it doesn't make any sense to me. And so this idea that a great quarterback can just magically overcome all of this type of stuff, you know, I reject. I really, really do. I think there's some truth to that, but there's limitations. There's limitations, especially if you're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. You know, maybe if you're in a really bad division, then I could understand. But this whole idea, like, I don't know what you expect Herbert to do in these circumstances. And ask yourself this question. If Justin Herbert was the quarterback for the 49ers or for the Dallas Cowboys, would they be more successful? The answer is a 1,000% yes. The 49ers lose to the Dallas Cowboys a couple of times in the playoffs if Justin Herbert is the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And I argue, without a shadow of a doubt, that if Justin Herbert was a quarterback for the 49ers in the Super Bowl, they beat Patrick Mahomes and win. And there's really no doubt. And don't call me a Brock Purdy hater. I have given Brock Purdy flowers again and again and again and again. So don't come to me saying that I'm a Brock Purdy hater. Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. He will most likely have some limitations. He's a really good quarterback. He is not better than Justin Herbert. He's just not. Brock Purdy's had the luxury of having an elite roster with one of the best offensive head coaches we have ever seen. What the heck has Justin Herbert had? Nothing. So I don't get this argument. And Goff, I also really like Goff. I think Goff's great, and I agree. Goff is a very underrated quarterback. I'm going to pick Justin Herbert. I really am, because Goff has had the benefit of Sean McVay as the head coach, and then Ben Johnson who's a really great OC for the Detroit Lions, and also a great roster as well. Justin Herbert doesn't have any of these things. He doesn't even have a home team. You know, the Chargers games, every single game is an away game from them. So I just reject this. I just reject this idea. And I've been saying this now for a while. As soon as I heard that Harbaugh was going to be hired for the Chargers, is that Herbert is going to ball out. He is going to be a legitimate, bona fide, top quarterback, and and then it's going to prove how important having a true, legitimate, offensive-minded head coach is. especially for a young developing quarterback. So I really reject this. And again, if you want to say that Jared Goff is better than him, well, Jared Goff was definitely not better than him when he was with the Rams, which is why Sean McVay said, "Get out of here. I need Matthew Stafford." So, and again, and it's also a tricky thing when you start ranking quarterbacks, because then it's also like, are we talking about throughout their whole career or right now? Because if you had to pick moving forward, who's going to be your quarterback for the next 5 years, Matthew Stafford or Justin Herbert, like you're going to pick Justin Herbert. At least I would, just because of Matthew Stafford's age. But, you know, and again, I think Matthew Stafford's an awesome quarterback as well. So to me, that's when things start to get murky. And now Jalen Hurts, as you guys know, I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts, but I'm definitely not, you know, he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived, but he's done a lot, and I think he's been injured this past season, so a lot of people are down now on him, and he's also struggled because he doesn't have a legitimate good offensive head coach or a because a legit OC, which now hopefully he does. But it would be interesting if you really said, hey man, you have to pick between drafting Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. Who would it be? My gut would actually lean toward Justin Herbert, because he's a bigger, stronger, more durable quarterback and has a cannon. And I think that Justin Herbert has a longer trajectory, has a longer timeline in the NFL than a Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts ultimately will age poorly. I think maybe Jalen Hurts has the potential to have a higher peak because he has more physical options in his toolbox. But as he's been getting banged up over the last couple of years, whether it be his shoulder or his knee, and that's where Wiles was wrong. I don't think his knee was hurt in the Super Bowl. It was his shoulder, actually, is what put him out. He couldn't even throw, the length of the field at that final play because his arm was just shot, which makes what he did in the Super Bowl all the more impressive. But I think that would actually be an interesting conversation of who would you rather have. I would have to really go back and watch. And again, it's a little bit unfair because Hurts has a significantly better roster and had a bona fide, I think, someone who will be named like in the same conversations of a McVay and Shanahan and Shane Steichen. And so, of course, Jalen Hurts is going to improve significantly. And so I think if Justin Herbert has an opportunity, who he did have Shane Steichen as well and balled out, but did not have anywhere near the roster that the Philadelphia Eagles had, both offensively and defensively. So, because also the DC for the Eagles originally was also a really great DC, which is why he got the head coaching job with Arizona. That was just, Harry Roseman is just a fantastic GM. So that's why I never like to just rank quarterbacks 100% and say, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. I put them in groups, I say these quarterbacks are all very similar, relatively, in the same boat as one another. One has a little bit better accuracy. One is a little bit more mobile. One has a significantly better roster. The other doesn't. I just don't think things are that cut and dry. I know YouTube and everyone online loves these lists. Top 10 this, top 5 that. I don't ever agree with that. People always ask me, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite TV show? And it's like, I could never say that. I can't rank that. I just say, these are my favorites. These are what I love. And so I put Joe Burrow, Herbert, these types of quarterbacks in the same general group, and also recognize that they've all had vastly different rosters, vastly different organizations, vastly different OCs, different DCs, different defenses, different offenses, different head coaches. And it just becomes very difficult to compare. And I know that's an unsexy answer. I know no one ever wants to acknowledge how much Andy Reid has impacted Patrick Mahomes and how much, Sean McDermott has held back a Josh Allen, or you don't think Joe Burrow would be even better than he is right now if he had Andy Reid as his head coach? I mean, come on, guys. If Justin Herbert was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, we really don't believe that Justin Herbert wouldn't be better, that he wouldn't have at least one Super Bowl. You guys are really that confident? I just don't think so. I really, really don't. I think any of those quarterbacks that I named, if they got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not saying that they would be as successful as Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that they would win as many Super Bowls as Mahomes. I am not saying that. But I do believe that they would be capable of beating the Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers. Yes, I believe that Justin Herbert would be able to win and have the luxury of having a Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. I believe Josh Allen would win that Super Bowl as well. I believe Joe Burrow would win that Super Bowl as well. So, Patrick Mahomes is the one that has the luxury of going up against, these potentially wishy-washy quarterbacks more than anything, quite honestly. Everyone else has to go up against maybe more bona fide, legit, indisputable elite talent. So, yeah, that's just the way I see it. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about, Wilds and Nick Wright, like, genuinely getting heated at one another? And what do you think about Wilds' list and what Nick Wright is saying? Let me know in the comments below. As I said, I read every single comment, so let me see what you have to say. And please, again, don't forget to subscribe. We are building an amazing community, and I really, really would love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.